whatever happened to you wasn't okay. And the moment you realize is when the cycles of harm stop. I grew up in the kind of society where the cycles or generational cycles of harm, abuse, neglect, and all kinds of negative cycles continue to repeat themselves. And the reason and where it stems from is because people feeling like this happened to me, it's okay, I can then do this to someone else. Your parents should never have neglected you. Your partner should never have neglected you. Your adults, teachers, whatever it is that happened to you in your childhood has happened to you in adulthood should not have happened to you. They should have never abused you. They should have never dismissed you. And they should have never made you feel like less of a human being. Every human being is deserving of love, respect, and care. And just because your autonomy, just because your rights were disrespected, doesn't mean that cycle has to repeat itself. The moment we get to this point is the moment we live in a world that is better than it is. Sometimes we have situations where there are people who are born in a privilege and they just have privilege and they don't know what it's like to have experiences of being marginalized, put aside, whatever. But for most people, what we have is we have people who have been abused by society, neglected, put away, right? And instead of deciding, okay, how can I make the world better? How can I make the experiences of those like me better? We continue the cycle. And for those in that cycle, you find you've been abused, and then you have a child, you have an animal, and then you lash out the way that they lashed out at you. The moment you realize that whatever it is that happened to you wasn't okay, it ends. For me, I remember when I shot at my cat and sometimes mean to my cat, and I realized it's because, oh my God, I hadn't resolved the traumas that I had gone through. I hadn't traumatized things that I'd been through. And I had to realize my cat is just being a cat. Your child is just being a child. And if you see it that way, you understand that whatever it is that they do, even though it may cause harm, it may cause destruction, it may be reckless, you don't see it as the end of the world and then put consequences that don't match the actions of what they've done. Whatever happened to you was not okay. No one should have hit you. The issue is we sit down and then because we have unresolved traumas, we have unresolved burdens within us, we feel the only way to resolve them is to then inflict what has happened upon us. Has it worked? Is it working? And to think of it, you may think that you're functional, but functional is not necessarily equated to productivity. That would probably be the next video after this one. Just because you're productive doesn't mean you're functional. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean you're functional. So you function and you realize, okay, my relationships aren't flourishing. I don't feel safe in my own relationships. I don't feel safe sometimes in my own body because you are not coming to terms with the fact that whatever happened to you, whatever traumatic experience that you had gone through was not your fault. They should not have abused you. They should not have made you feel like anything less than what you are. And the issue is we don't longer have and find ways to communicate with others and enforce consequences in the right way. Bursts of anger are not ways to enforce consequences. Lashing out is not ways to enforce consequences, especially to those who may not even have understand what they've done. Neglect is not a way to resolve things. So if we sit down and we understand, okay, how best can I resolve the issues and how best can I resolve the things that have held me back? The cycles will stop repeating itself. The cycles will stop affecting you. Then you can break the generational cycles. You can break the cycles that your parents or your family have stopped, have continued to go on. It starts with realizing whatever happened to you wasn't okay. None of it. It's a short video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure to comment pink hearts and subscribe to my Patreon if you're interested and want to see more videos like this. Love you. Hope you have a nice day. It's Asha Lovely Day. Asha Lovely Day. Your medicine woman here telling you and enforcing you and making sure that you have a lovely day. Love you. Bye.
the medicine woman.